Hey, Pawn Leaders, welcome back to another episode of the Pawn Leaders Podcast. And with me, I have a great resource for you all that I found after I walked out of my chiropractor office. I went in for an adjustment, and all of a sudden I got a text message on my phone asking to review my chiropractor. And when I clicked through the process, it was such an easy process that it brought me back to my days in the pawn shop, wishing, hoping, and begging that the clients who would walk out after a pawn or a buy or a sale would give us a review on Yelp, Facebook, or Google. So with me, I have Matt Prados, who is the founder of Review Wave and has been working in digital marketing for more than the last 10 years. Having helped hundreds of local businesses achieve success online, he zeroed in on what he feels is the future of online marketing and built the Review Wave platform to help thousands achieve success. In his free time, he enjoys his family, his wife, their 2 boys, and 2 dogs, and of course, being physically active. Matt, welcome to the show.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
So, I walked out of Matt Hubbard's office, my chiropractor, great chiropractor, and all of a sudden I get pinged with a text message. And you walk me through the steps of, give me a 5-star review. And so I kind of tested the system. I said, let me click on 5, see what happens. And it took me to like a Google, a Yelp, or Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And I hit back and I said, wait a second. What happens if I hit a 1-star review? And what happened was incredible. Instead of taking me to the review page, what came up was just give us your feedback, how we can change. So before we get into the process of that, tell us how you created Review Wave, why you created Review Wave, and what it's done for the clients who are currently using it.
Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, with any company, the story starts, long before the company arrives. And so I would say that the concept spurred because I was leaving corporate America. I made a lot of money in corporate America, but I hated my boss. He was just a pain in my ass, to say the least. So I couldn't take it anymore. I quit. I walked out. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was going to be an entrepreneur. So I went on my journey, and probably 18 months into that, I'm on my knees at night just praying that there'll be a little bit more room on that Amex because Visa's due tomorrow and I need to pay it, right? And so anyway, we worked through some tough times as an entrepreneur, and what I realized is there was so many just crappy products out there and just garbage being sold to entrepreneurs about how you can be successful, that I wanted to help people be successful and just no fluff. Don't give me the perceived value garbage that's promoted out there by so many sales gurus. And so I found my way into digital marketing. And, for 10 years, we figured out SEO, we figured out AdWords, we figured out how to sell online, we figured out website conversions, and it's time intensive. So it was great, but, we were limited to helping hundreds versus thousands. And I really wanted to, help thousands and tens of thousands. So I looked at it and I said, what's the one thing that everybody needs online? The one thing, no matter who they are, no matter they're brand new in practice or in business, or they're a veteran with 40 years, in their pocket. And at the end of the day, it's reviews. It doesn't matter what else you have. You can have no website, but if you have a killer Google local listing with 200 reviews, you're getting leads from the internet. You could have a phenomenal website with, 1 Google review and get no leads from the internet. So it doesn't matter, website, no website, etc. If you have reviews, you will be more successful online. And if you do it right, it's money in the bank because they're going to stick. They're going to be there forever. If you do shady things that violate terms of service, etc., obviously you can, have your reviews filtered, flagged, removed, whatever. And so, we set out 2 years ago to design the smoothest process on how to get people to give you feedback, and if they're happy, reviews, and if they're not happy, why, so you can reach out and help them. I mean, how many times have you left a business, a restaurant, a barber shop, whatever, and been like, man, that's the most fucked up haircut I've ever got, but you didn't tell the barber that because you're not be confrontational. And so maybe it stews for a while. Maybe you go and your girlfriend's like, wow, that is a really fucked up haircut. Then you go to Yelp and you're like, man, that barber gave me a fucked up haircut. Because you're pissed because your woman just told you got a jacked up haircut. So, how do we make it win-win? And that was part of the process. I want the patients, the customers, the clients, the users to make sure they have a great experience. If they don't, be made whole, make it right. Have that office make it right. And then when the office is doing a phenomenal job, get that extra, review for it, get that extra little validation that can promote them. And so that was the whole concept. And so, there's, various systems out there that try to do different things. And I feel like most of them focus on just getting reviews. Maybe they'll even tell you, hey, this is how you create a Google account, do this, this, and this. This is garbage because that's going to get you in trouble. So we don't do any of that stuff that we know is going to hurt our clients long-term. Because if you have 10 reviews on Google and 5 of them are from accounts that were made, left a review, and then never logged into again, guess what? Google knows. They're not an idiot. I mean, any software can tell there's a footprint there.
So let's just go back really quick. What you're saying is that if a pawnbroker has the clients open up a Gmail account, whatever, and then they just leave one review, never log in once again, it's done. They'll flag it. They'll take it off.
I mean, will some people get away with it? There's probably some people that are going to be listening to this going, haha, I've been getting away with that for 5 years. Well, that might be working now, but you know what? You might wake up tomorrow and have 0 reviews. And then what? Because you did it wrong. Don't do it wrong. Just do it right. Do it consistent. And it's money in the bank. It will continue to grow. It's an asset. Treat it like that. Treat it, the way it's supposed to be done. And it will be an asset for years to come. But yeah, absolutely. If you're doing that whole, please create an account and leave me a review stuff, not only can Google catch you, but I mean, come on, there's no profile picture. If somebody clicks on it and they see that there's only one review, what does that look like? It looks like you're a liar and a scammer because you're making these reviews up. You can go buy reviews. I mean, I can give you an email. You can go buy 10 reviews for $100 right now. Is it good? No. Yeah. The guy in India is going to be happy with his $100, but nobody's going to believe the reviews are true because they're going to be from people all over the country. So yeah, you just got to do it right. It's your online reputation that you're looking at. Is it real? Is it authentic? Is it true? These are all questions that people are going to ask when looking at reviews, and they're also going to look, is it consistent? If you've got 100 reviews from 3 years ago, 100 reviews is great, but being that they're all 3 years old and you don't have any since, it's not that great. It's one of those things you have. It's like brushing your teeth. You stop doing it for a couple months, you're gonna have some pretty rank breath, and you get kissed very much.
So I remember when I was in the shop, we would have to beg people to leave reviews, and please go on Yelp, please go on Facebook, please go on Google. Do you think? Your software, when we walk through it, it's the customer walks out of the door. Obviously, you're either connected to the software or the person downloads a file of the transactions of the day. The client gets a text message and you walk them through the process, right?
Yep.
Is it important to focus on one social media aspect like Facebook, Google, and Yelp, or all 3? What's the most important thing for the business when it comes to reviews?
Sure. It's really going to depend where you are in the country on what you target, because in San Diego, everybody's on Yelp, everybody's on Google, everybody's on Facebook. In Boise, Idaho, probably not so much on Yelp, right? So, but everybody's gonna be on Google and Facebook. So for sure, Google's number 1, no doubt. Number 2 is gonna depend on your area. It's either gonna be Facebook or Yelp. And then, the third would be whichever one's left. And then, obviously if there's some, if you're in an area that maybe, uses Yahoo for some reason or Bing, it doesn't hurt to spread them around on those kind of sites as well.
Yeah, understood. So walk us through the process really quick. I get the text message, and what does Review Wave do?
Absolutely. So we send out the text. Basically, we merge in the client's name and, we say, we hope you had a great experience. Would you mind leaving feedback? And we give them a link. They click on the link. They go to a page, and this is all customizable, but, basically it'll say something to the effect of overall, how was your experience? You can have a 1 to 5 star theme. You can have a yes, no question. You can have a happy face, sad face. So you can customize it to the personality of your business, your pawn shop in this case. but let's say it's 1 to 5 stars. So if they click 4 or 5 stars, by default, we consider that positive. And then we send them to the next page which says, hey, we're so excited you had a great experience. Would you mind sharing that with others? We give them links to, Google, Facebook, Yelp, whatever it may be. If they didn't have a great experience, 1 to 3 stars, they get into a different page. It says, hey, we're so sorry you did not have an incredible experience. What could we have done to make your experience 5-star? They get to type in their answer. There's no drop down, no, radio box. It's literally exactly what they're upset about. And the reason for this, you want them to vent. You want them to tell you exactly what it is. You don't want to have some generic, your receptionist is mean, or, your sales rep is pushy, or, whatever. You want to have exact verbiage. They hit submit. We thank them for their feedback. They're done. Then we don't do it. We don't ask for anything else. And they feel like they were able to express themselves. So they've given you their negative review. So hopefully they won't go to Google, Yelp, or Facebook and leave a negative review. And hopefully you'll be proactive enough to reach out and say, hey, we're really sorry you had a bad experience. Here's a coupon for 10% off your next purchase. Whatever, make it right.
Gotcha.
And so that's the concept there.
What's the percentage of people who respond to the text messages?
Sure. So on average, for every 100 feedback requests that are sent, you're going to get about a 25% response rate to an initial feedback. And then from that, you're going to get, 5 or 6 actual reviews. So depending on how many unique people you're doing deals with each week, and then you multiply those statistics out, you're going to have, an overall kind of feeling for, what kind of feedback and what kind of reviews that you could get.
And I think that's a great percentage, because thinking back, if you're doing, 50 transactions a day in a pawn shop, let's say, and 25% of those click open, and you get, 2 reviews a day, let's say 60 reviews a month, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, you're
700 plus a year.
What?
That'd be 700 plus a year.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine having 700 plus reviews and the next pawnbroker over has 13?
Right.
So there's something that always comes to mind when I talk about reviews is like Phil's Barbecue down here in San Diego.
Okay.
Phil's Barbecue has thousands and thousands of reviews. I mean, they're insane.
Yeah.
Most reviewed business on Yelp, I think. Studied them. And they have a huge sign that says, if you need help, or let us know if you need help before you Yelp. Right? Okay. So they're constantly proactive about reviews.
Yeah.
It's their core business.
Yeah. And they've got a line outside their door and around the corner when you want to go there at any major mealtime.
Yeah. Because when somebody looks you up, when somebody says, hey, restaurant, Google, Facebook, or Yelp, they're number one because they've got thousands of reviews.
Right.
And that's the goal with Review Wave. Correct?
Absolutely. That is the goal, to empower any business to, level the playing field, get those reviews, get on top, whether they're brand new or they've been around forever. Reviews is the thing that, the one thing that any business can focus on and improve their business.
Now, obviously I met you about 6 weeks ago, and we're trying to implement Review Wave into the pawn industry. So my question is going to be more, I know that you're in the chiropractic industry, the dentist industry. What other industries are you in?
We're literally in everything from, medical, dental, chiropractic, audiology, all the way to, the funeral home business and insurance agents. So pretty much anything and everything in between.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that pawnbrokers aren't saying, well, this doesn't fit what we do, because you're in everything that's out there.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, let's get serious. If a funeral home can ask for feedback, a pawnbroker can, right?
It's got to be some great service, right?
Yeah.
It's important. So my other question is, what have you seen in the businesses that use Review Wave in increasing business? Like, what's happening? Like Matt Hubbard's business, let's say, and I'm sure he doesn't care that I speak about it, but
yeah,
because he's doing reviews, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, honestly, Matt is probably one of the best chiropractors that I've ever met. I actually come from the largest family of chiropractors in the world, over 80 chiropractors in my family. I've been adjusted by probably, 500 different chiropractors because I've worked in that industry. I've consulted for that industry, et cetera. And he just phenomenal chiropractor, top, 1% of every chiropractor I've ever met, for sure. But, 10 years into the business, he had 24 reviews on Google. which is pathetic. 24 reviews, right? That's like what nobody has. And so within, 9 months, he's got over 100 reviews. Obviously not as high volume as a pawnbroker, but that's pushed him into the top 3 in Google for Chiropractor San Diego. That has, taken his new patients from the internet from, 4 or 5 a month to 4 or 5 a week. It's just a tremendous difference. The difference between 4 or 5 new patients and 20 new patients in a chiropractic office is significant.
In any business, yeah.
15 new deals a month, is obviously a significant amount of revenue. But at the end of the day, it not only validates him for all his hard work. As an entrepreneur, we put in more hours than anybody. There's no 40-hour work week. It validates the staff. Their names get mentioned. That feels good. That's a bonus for them. And even though I said he's in the top 1%, he's had multiple patients over the last 9 months that left, gave him a 1 to 3 star review. They were able to reach out, handle the upset. Patients now not only still a patient, but one of their most raving advocates because they showed they cared. They reached out. They handled the issue. They owned up to what they did wrong and made it right. And so, the repercussions and the good things that happen to guys that really implement Review Wave and use it consistently, it's even too early to tell. And it's almost hard to measure because I truly believe that it's changed the entire path of some businesses. Because if you're a struggling chiropractor and he's not struggling, but if you're struggling and you're seeing 5 new patients a month and you all of a sudden are at 20, you've gone from, a personal income of like $100,000 a year to a personal income of like $400,000 a year. It's a drastic change. And then, you get more referrals because, you got more patients coming in. So it's a snowball effect. If you can imagine, in the pawn industry, for example, so you were in the business for 16 years. If you can imagine that during that 16 years, every single person that left upset told you why.
That'd be amazing.
That feedback, the value of that feedback alone, because everybody likes a win, but you don't learn anything from winning. You learn from your losses, right? So if you knew every time you lost, why you lost, and maybe there's something you would change, or maybe that guy was just crazy, because you will get some crazies, obviously, but you at least get to have closure. Like, okay, so that guy was not happy because he didn't like the fact that I had brown hair. Well, I'm not dyeing my hair, so enough with him. But this lady wasn't happy because, we nickeled and dimed her, was that, extra dollar that, we wouldn't come down really worth it, or, whatever in the long-term scheme of things, because we're never going to do another deal with her, So it's just that I think is such a significant value that people overlook.
So it's not just about reviews, it's customer service. And I think in the retail environment, like the pawn shops, the one who has the better customer service wins.
Absolutely.
And if you're getting those reviews, the negative feedbacks, and they're not hitting Google, you know what things you need to change in the pawn industry. You know what employees aren't doing as good. Mm-hmm. You know what products need to come in. You know what process isn't working out. And that to me is gold.
Absolutely. And actually one point further on the employee point, you can actually say which employee did this deal, and we will track the feedback based on the employee. So in your dashboard in Review Wave, you can see all your different employees, and you can see all of the deal, number of requests sent for them and what their feedback is. And so each individual employee will have a feedback number, and then you'll have a whole number as well.
Wow.
So you can absolutely manage your staff based on feedback.
That's incredible, because that puts a better mindset into the employee, saying every transaction I'm doing can essentially, I'm being graded. Mm-hmm. So I have to be the best that I can be, because if not, I'm going to get a 1-star review, and I'll be on a chart, or I won't get my bonus, or whatever Absolutely. It is you want to do.
Totally. And bring a point. Yeah, I got a buddy. He's actually from San Diego. He posted on Facebook a rant, if you will, about a print shop. So he went into the print shop, and they did just a terrible job on his print job. And the employee didn't really care. The employee was like, whatever. And he says to the employee, he says, look, you might not care that I'm going to leave and go put a negative review on Yelp, but enough negative reviews and the business is going to go down, and you're actually going to get fired because the business owner can no longer afford to keep you on. And most, most employees won't think that long term. They won't think about each deal being that important. But you put a system like Review Wave on them where they're literally going to be graded each and every single time. It definitely changes the mindset and allows you to train them so they can be better employees. They can serve themselves, their customers better, and they can have a better life because they're now doing better themselves.
That's amazing, man. So obviously it's a win-win. I love the software. I hope that people listening will go to reviewwave.com, and we're going to have a special offer for them when they put in the word pawn, P-A-W-N. And I want to ask you a question as an entrepreneur. What's been the hardest thing in building this business?
I think the hardest things came before this business, honestly, because, the hardest thing is when it all comes crashing down. Because when you start out as an entrepreneur, you're like, I can beat the world. I'm invincible. And then, your first loss, that smack in the face and, whatnot. So it was the businesses prior to this business. This business has been very smooth. I've worked with, incredible people, gotten advice from, just some of the most brilliant minds on the planet. And, so this particular business has been very smooth rolling, but as an entrepreneur, I've put in the time, I've been in the trenches, I've, had all of the losses. So I get it. There is definitely times in businesses where that's going to happen, but, the biggest lesson on that is focus on that one thing that can change your business today. Because as an entrepreneur, you're going to get hit with like thousands of different opportunities to invest, questions about this, different, everything, just it's going to be all over the place. But if you move aside all the things that aren't that important and you focus on, that one thing, that's what makes all the difference.
Great, man. Thanks for sharing that. And Matt, obviously we're doing this on video and people can't see it. I know the bracelet that you're wearing. I know what that means. So I want to ask you, how important has coaching been in your journey as an entrepreneur?
Coaching is absolutely, you can't succeed at the top levels without coaching. At the end of the day, it's probably cliche to a lot of entrepreneurs, but look at every single professional athlete. They have a coach. They've had a coach every step of the way. As an entrepreneur, there's definitely people that have come into my life at the right time for coaching. At the beginning of this business, I met a gentleman who had literally just sold his software company for $50 million. And, he believed in me and he actually invested in our company and has become an incredible friend. And, with, coaching from him, with, coaching from, just other incredible people who've done there and been there and done that, people that have walked the walk, this idea of, learning to be a life coach and these guys that, go train to be a life coach, like, no, thank you. Stay away from them. Find people who have actually done it. And those are the people that are going to help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you so much for being on the show. Pawn family, go to reviewwave.com and enter the code PAWN to get a special offer that Matt and I worked out for you guys. Matt, it's been an honor having you on, brother. I appreciate what you're doing for the retail community, because obviously it's hard in this day and age when everything's online. You're out there helping the service provider, the pawnbroker, the chiropractor to build their business. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was great.
Awesome. Guys, check out reviewwave.com. And my goal is connecting Matt to the software providers out there so that this happens automatically and is an easier, smoother process for the pawnbrokers. Also, don't forget to check out the podcast community, Pawn Leaders Podcast Community on Facebook. And I'm giving away a 30-minute free strategy session. Go to pawnleaders.com and let's chat. Let's have some fun. So thanks everybody for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Pawn Leaders Podcast.